Good day and welcome YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics, and today's video I'm going to be doing a Doctor Who Big Finish for beginners video, or where to start at Big Finish, as there's a lot of Doctor Who fans who want to get into Big Finish but they have no idea where to start, because Big Finish do offer a massive majority within the Doctor Who range. So many different ranges and spin-offs with Doctor Who, such as the main range, the 4th Doctor Adventures, the 8th Doctor Adventures, the spin-offs with Jago and Litefoot, Gallifrey. They offer so much content, you're just thinking, where on earth am I going to start? So this video should help those people. This video is directed at people who want to get into Big Finish but don't know where on earth to start. I've got 10 releases, which in my opinion are perfect to starting out with Big Finish. Now some of these are not necessarily my favourites, but ones which are essential to pick up straight from the bat to get into Big Finish, and once you've listened to them you just want to carry on and get more Big Finish. And yeah, one thing to expect from Big Finish is quality. They put 100% work in their audios and are absolutely fantastic. Superior sound design, music, production, and how it's directed and made. It is absolutely wonderful how well Big Finish make their audio. And we have another year concluded with Big Finish. With 2015 we had some very big releases coming out, like the conclusion to Dark Eyes, Doom Coalition, a brand new series for the 8th Doctor, a massive release for the 6th Doctor, The Last Adventure, and released quite recently we've had Only the Monstrous starting the new War Doctor series as well. Now before I enter my numbering recommendation list, there's one recommendation was actually like quite a big recommendation, which I think is good for starting out with Big Finish, is the 1 to 50 area. Now all these audios are out of print now, which is a shame. All 1 to 50 are out of print and very difficult to get in physical copy, but on the Big Finish website all of them are on download for $2.99, and I say that's again a brilliant start for Big Finish. $2.99 for one audio for a 2-hour story, it's absolutely brilliant. And definitely there are some classic stories in 1 to 50 area. So yeah, have a look in the 1 to 50 in the monthly range and see which ones look interesting to you. Anyway, let's begin our top 10 recommendations list. For my first recommendation, it is Masters of Earth by Cavan Scott and Mark Wright, and this is from the monthly range, the 6th Doctor and Perry Trilogy, which consists of The Widow's Assassin, Masters of Earth, and The Rani Elite. And in my opinion, and most people's opinions, this is the best out of the trilogy. The Widow's Assassin I find quite hard to picture, and The Rani Elite is a great story, but this one really stands out of the crowd within this trilogy. I would recommend the trilogy as it's really good for the 6th Doctor and Perry's characterization, as it's Perry after Trial of the Time Lord Mind Warp, and this one really does explore the 6th Doctor's and Perry's relationship very well. A lot of people don't like the 6th Doctor, but in Big Finish he is absolutely wonderful, absolutely fantastic, and I've said in previous videos that when you listen to Masters of Earth you will fall in love with the 6th Doctor. He puts his heart and soul into this one, and it's one of his best performances in a Big Finish audio. Very much recommend this one. If you're a fan of the Dalek Invasion of Earth, then this one you will absolutely adore, as it's got a lot of elements from the Dalek Invasion of Earth, such as the Robomen and the Varga plants. As well, it is a prequel to the Dalek Invasion of Earth, but you don't have to be a fan of that story to appreciate this one. Definitely recommended, Masters of Earth. My second recommendation is We Are the Daleks by Jonathan Morris, release 201, and Nicholas Briggs said in the behind the scenes of this release it was made to be a jumping on point for Big Finish fans after all these arcs ended, and the Locum Doctor's trilogy ending with 200, the special release, The Secret History. And I very much agree with this. It is a fantastic start to get into Big Finish. I've been praising this story a lot, as I gave it in my review a 10 out of 10, and I still stand strong to that rating. It is still a whopping 10 out of 10. This story is absolutely great. A unique and original idea for the Daleks, which just works superbly in this one. Integrated with some very interesting elements, such as the partnership to the UK with the Daleks. Very reminds me of how the Daleks, very sly and deceitful the Daleks, and this new game being made and manufactured, which is Warfleet, which gets implemented into the story and how that plays out is absolutely wonderful. Again, the 7th Doctor, this is one of his best performances, and I would say in the whole 7th Doctor and Mel trilogy, the most recent one, he and Bonnie Langford really do shine. Mel is absolutely fantastic in this trilogy, and Will of the Daleks really explored her character and a lot better than the TV series. If you're looking for a very fun but serious, well balanced story which is fantastic from start to finish, Will of the Daleks is definitely for you. Third recommendation is Criss Cross by Matt Fitton, which starts off the 6th Doctor and Constance trilogy. And yeah, Constance is a brand new companion who had her first story in the last adventure set, which came out before Criss Cross with The End of the Line. Criss Cross is set in World War II, the Turing test. If you're a fan of cracking codes and yeah, the Turing tests and all like that, this story is definitely for you, as the monsters, the villains, the waveform really fit in the setting of the story. Got some fantastic characters such as Agent Spark, a very wonderful character. The 6th Doctor, he loves leadership in this one. Fantastic interactions with all the characters as it's set in the war, so of course they all love leadership, such as Major Harris for example and Agent Spark, so have a bit of animosity with them, which is very nice to hear on audio. And we have some brilliant moments with the 6th Doctor and Constance, as they both love leadership and they have a lot of similarities to each other, quite brash in some places, as Constance has to be brash being leading Ren. But it's also really nice to see this other side of Constance, to see that she's a very soft and well-loving person, which is great to see in this story. If you love a story set in World War II with code cracking, Criss Cross is definitely a pickup. Also very well researched by Matt Fitton, a wonderful release. My fourth recommendation is The Yes Men by Simon Guerrier, and this is part of the Early Adventures range. And out of all the early adventures I've listened to, which is season 1 and The Yes Men stands the strongest by miles. This is a wonderful story by Simon Guerrier. Really feels like a 60s story. A bit like a 1st Doctor and a 2nd Doctor story combined, which works really well. I can see the 1st Doctor, Ian, Barbara and Susan working very well in this one as well. The narration within the Yes Man is perfectly embedded within the story, and it really feels like it's a part of the story. Fraser Hines voices the 2nd Doctor in this one and does the 2nd Doctor brilliantly. And a voice actor by Elliot Chapman voices Ben in this audio, and he does perfect in some lines. Some lines sound identical to Ben from the 2nd Doctor era, which is absolutely fantastic. He's one of the best voice impersonators for Big Finish so far. He's absolutely wonderful. If you're a fan of 60s Who, like 1st Doctor stories and 2nd Doctor stories with narration, the Yes Men is one you would definitely enjoy. Plus the Yes Men monsters themselves, the robots, very creepy, especially when the story progresses, as at the start they seem pretty normal and friendly, just running normal protocols, but when the story goes on they get more creepier, more weird. Definitely works very well in the story. Really nice cliffhangers as well. An absolutely wonderful story. If you're a fan of 60s Who, this one is definitely a pickup. My fifth recommendation is The King of Sontar, featuring Tom Baker as the 4th Doctor and Louise Jameson as Leela. And as you can see, it is a 4th Doctor adventure audio, which is the introduction to Season 3, featuring the Sontarans. Now this is a very nice, action-packed, epic story, especially at the start. It throws you immediately into the action, then it calms down all of that, and then it goes right back into the build. It has some very nice pacing with the King of Sontar, and the villain himself, which is General Strang, is an absolutely wonderful Sontaran. Really, the Sontarans don't mess about in this one at all. They feel threatening, intimidating and powerful, like brutes, what Sontarans are supposed to be like, and they work absolutely fantastic in this one. Definitely one of the best starts to get into the 4th Doctor adventures, and once you've listened to the King of Sontar, you want to continue and get to the other 4th Doctor adventures. I guarantee you will do that. I would say as well, Season 3 is a great start for the 4th Doctor adventures, as it has some nice character expansion for the 4th Doctor and Leela. Plus as well, we have some nice character moments within the King of Sontar, which really does test their relationship, especially at the end of the story, which then carries forward with the other stories, especially White Ghost. My sixth recommendation is the Oliver Harper trilogy from the Companion Chronicles, consisting of The Perpetual Bond, The Cold Equations, and The First Wave by Simon Guerrier. An absolutely wonderful trilogy, and right now, in my opinion, the best start for the Companion Chronicles. Really great stories here, and really does expands the character relationship of the Doctor and Steven after the Daleks master plan. And it feels like the Daleks master plan is really having a long-term effect now, not just going right to the massacre. It really has a nice long-term effect, which really affects the characters, as Daleks master plan is a very dark and bleak story, especially what happened during the end, as almost both of the characters were ripped apart. And here it really does expand that. The Perpetual Bond is a very fun story, but it gets rather twisted and serious with the Doctor and Steven's relationship. It's an absolutely fun and enjoyable story, absolutely. But then after that it gets a lot more bleak and serious now. Feels like there's no hope left, especially with the Doctor and Steven, and Oliver as well, put in very bleak situations. That's where the Cold Equations comes into play, where they're both trapped on a spaceship with very low oxygen supply. And we have more on Oliver's secret within the Cold Equations, and then we have the First Wave again. Very bleak, and bring back a very controversial monster from the TV series, the Vardan. But here, the Vardan are portrayed absolutely brilliantly. And Big Finish did absolutely wonderful making the Vardan a lot more better from the Invasion of Time. Overall, this is an absolutely fantastic trilogy to start out with the Companion Chronicles. Absolutely wonderful stories. My seventh recommendation is the I, Davros series, which is a spin-off range featuring innocence, purity, corruption and guilt. And this is where we see Davros before the events of Genesis of the Daleks, and we see him as a life as a young teenager, then to his adulthood, and how he became the Davros we all know and love. This is a range I recently did an overview on, and you can check that video out if you want to. But to sum up this range in one word, it is overwhelming. It completely overwhelms you how fantastic this series is. Absolutely fantastic. All four of the stories are great, with Innocence really being a family drama looking at Davros' family, such as his dad, his mother, his auntie and his sister, and where their characters go within this series is absolutely wonderful. Purity, which is very like a war heavy story, really focusing on the Farl and Khalid War, which is my favourite from this mini-series. Purity is my favourite out of the four stories. Corruption being a very political story now, and we can really see that Davros has grown to the Davros we all know and love, and really getting corrupted within power and wants to overrank the Supremo. And then we have Guilt, which is a fantastic end to the series, and we have the introduction of the first Mark I Dalek, which then leads into Genesis of the Daleks. An absolutely wonderful series. It's £16 on the Big Finish website, which is a bargain. Definitely pick it up. £16 for this is absolutely incredible. My eighth recommendation is Jago and Litefoot Series 1. But before you get into Jago and Litefoot Series 1, pick up The Mahogany Murderers, which is a companion chronicle by Andy Lane, which is a backdoor pilot story, which then leads into Series 1 and the Similarity Engine, as you do need The Mahogany Murderers for the Similarity Engine. It's a wonderful pilot episode for the Jago and Litefoot series, really setting up very well. And then we get into Series 1 of Jago and Litefoot, which is absolutely wonderful, featuring the Blood the Soldier, the Beloved Devil, the Spirit Trap, and the Similarity Engine. The Blood the Soldier is a wonderful start for this box set, and really putting Jago, Litefoot, and the other characters like Ellie in a very dark and very powerful situation during the end of the story, which is very shocking that this happened so early within the series. Then we had The Beloved Devil, a very good story by Alan Barnes, which I would say is his best story so far I have listened to. A very interesting and intriguing supernatural story, I would say, with a person coming back from the dead. Then we have The Spirit Trap, a very supernatural story dealing with ghosts and the paranormal, very good stuff. And then we had the fantastic finale, which over time, the more I listen to it, the more I actually like it. The Serenity Engine with the final stand with Dr. Torp, who is a great villain within this set. Jago and Litefoot Series 1 is just the start. When you carry on, it's wonderful. Series 2 is absolutely sensational in my opinion. And once you've got Series 1, you just want to carry on. Definitely insist you get into the Jago and Litefoot range. I praised it a lot because it is my favourite Big Finish range. And Series 1 on the Big Finish website is £20 permanently. It's going to stay £20. Definitely get on the Big Finish website and pick it up. It's worth £20 without a shadow of a doubt. Now for recommendations 9 and 10, we have some big stuff. If you really want to start out big, then I insist you pick up Dark Eyes 1 and the Phillip Hinchcliffe Presents box set. Dark Eyes is an absolutely sensational Doctor Who range. All the box sets are good, but Dark Eyes 1 really does shine as it features after the events of To the Death, and the Doctor is put in a very hopeless and bleak situation as something very dark did happen in To the Death. Performances here is absolutely fantastic from the 8th Doctor Paul McGann, Toby Jones playing as Cottress, and Ruth Bradley playing Molly as the companion of the series. And then for my last recommendation is the Phillip Hinchcliffe Presents box set featuring the Ghost of Growstead and the Devil's Armada. It's got Phillip Hinchcliffe, so that is definitely a fantastic sign, as Phillip Hinchcliffe for many was the golden era of Doctor Who, the golden producer, and his era was the best era, from the Ark in Space to the Talons of Weng-Chiang. And yes, of course, I have to admit, it is an absolutely wonderful era of Doctor Who with so many classics. And these were 2 story ideas by Phillip Hinchcliffe, which then was adapted by Mark Platt absolutely wonderfully, with Ghost of Growstead being a 6-part and the Devil's Armada being a 4-parter. The only drawback to it, it's £55, which is really expensive. So yeah, if you can find it for a cheaper price, or eventually Big Finish will do a sale on it at some point, then I would say pick it up. So to recap my recommendations, it is Masters of Earth, We Are the Daleks, Criss Cross, The Yes Men, The King of Sontar, the Oliver Harper Trilogy, I Davros, Jago and Litefoot Series, Dark Eyes, and the Phillip Hinchcliffe Presents box set. So I hope these recommendations help you out. Definitely great ones to start out with. But yeah, there are plenty more fantastic Big Finishes out there. But these ones, in my opinion, are the best ones to start out with, in my opinion. Any of these are great to start out with. So I hope this video helped out some people to start out with Big Finish, as again it's just a huge majority which Big Finish offer to fans. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.